Hello, I'm Kranti from Extra Guru. I will be presenting SQL Server 2012 Performance Tuning Introduction. In this module, I will explain what are the content I will cover for the SQL Server 2012 Performance Tuning course. Before I jump into that, I would like to share some of the knowledge about myself. I'm the Microsoft certified professional and I have 11 years of IT experience, and also I have 7 years of teaching experience, especially in the SQL Server. I will cover all modules including with the DBA, SSIS, SSRS as well as the SSAS. And also I have some of the additional information. You can follow me on YouTube, Google Plus as well as the Facebook. And also I would like to explain about the Extra Guru website. This website is covered all the IT trainings, which is mostly online, and also you can contact us for if you want to learn from the physical location. We have a location which is available in Hyderabad, and also there are a lot of courses available and which affordable price. So these prices might be for US dollars. So if you are from India and you want to learn online or you want to go physical, then we have a different price for the Indian students. So please contact us at this. You can contact us on the info@extraguru.com, then which is you can contact at info@extra guru.com. So if you are Indian student or if you would like to learn any other courses from India or from online, please contact us. Then we will give you the different price for the Indian students, because the Indian timings are different. So we will give you the Indian prices, and these are mostly covered for the US dollars, but still you can learn from India as well. And not only the SQL Server, you can learn different technology. We have around 50 plus technologies, and each technology we have a 7 IT professionals. So your class will be start as soon as possible, as soon as once you get the request to us. So and also in the future we are going to cover one of the interesting courses for the SQL Server, which is called the SQL Server DBA and T-SQL interview questions and answers. So this course in terms is total is 20 hours of duration, and which will cover 150 plus top interview questions. So it will explain the complete details about how and why and how to answer the question. So not only the DBA, we are introducing the SQL Server Business Intelligence with T-SQL interview question and answers. That is also around 15 hours. So if you like to interest about this course, then please contact us info@extraguru.com, and you can, if you want more details about the website, you can just type it extraguru.com. Then you will see all the information about the website, and you will see the upcoming classes as well. So the main content of this course is I would like to share some of the introduction information which cover what are the topics we'll cover for the entire course, and also I will explain what is the major difference between the regular training centers and extra group training. After that, I will show you some of the performance tuning process, how it starts and where we have to go. After that, I will give you some of the introduction for the tips. Then but if you want to be complete details about the tips and all the information how to tune and how to perform the SQL Server, then you should have to be join in the complete course. And also after that I will explain introduction to the real-time scenarios. Let's start with the introduction. The total course is 24 hours, which covers 2 weeks. I will share the class for every day 2 hours or 1.5 hours. It depends on the student's request. And the course fees around 12,000 and 249 US dollars. So before I jump into the course, I would like to share some of the topics which I will going to cover in the entire course. The topics are, I will show you how to identify the problematic SQL queries, which we prepared some of the queries that will show you the real-time scenarios. After that, I will explain how to analyze the execution plan, because the execution plan is the most important and you should have to understand thoroughly before you start any performance tuning. After that, I will explain how to do the effective of the indexes. Some of the indexes required, some of the indexes may not be required. So some places indexes will help, but some of the places indexes may not be help. So you should have to be understand the process, and also you should have to be analyze the complete indexes before you deploy into the production server. And also I will show you how to avoid some of the bottlenecks, the especially the locks and blocking, and also you will see the more details into the complete course. After that, I will show you the importance of the statistics, how the statistics are important and how to control them, and when to manage the statistics. After that, I will show you the different types of stored procedures, which each stored procedure behave differently based on your parameter. And sometimes your parameter may run very fast, and sometimes the parameter may not be run fast, because if one parameter get the results 100,000 and one parameter may get 10,000 results. So there is a big difference when the SQL Server needs to be execute the plan. And also I will show you what is the importance of the fragmentation, and when will the fragmentation happen, and how to identify them, and how to fix the fragmentation levels. After that, I will show you more details about the execution plan, and I will explain where to find out the cache execution plans. The cache execution plans are very helpful when your query is performing abnormal in one day. For example, your query executing fine for last 1 year and suddenly it is changed today. So then you have to find out the execution plans. Then you can identify the today and previous execution plans, and you can compare them. After that, I will show you the stored procedures decompilation, and also I will explain the deadlocks and blocking issues. Finally, I will show you the tricks that when to use the cursor, and mostly we should have to avoid the cursor, but sometimes we may have to use it based on the business requirement. So I will show you some of the tricks where the cursor use it and when to use them. Basically, before I jump into any performance tuning process, I would like to share some of the knowledge why we are unique than other than. So before I jump into the performance tuning process, first I would like to share some of the information why Extra Guru training is unique than other training centers. Let me show you some of the basic queries for introduction purpose. See here, the difference between the other training centers and the Extra Guru training centers is we have around 100 we manage more than 100 million rows for tables. So when you design the query, when I explain some of the statistics or execution plans or anything, it is truly based on the more than 100 million rows. So which will you will see the real-time scenarios, you will see the how the impact on the real time. For example, when I see the query and what I can do, this is a basic simple query. There are a lot of stored procedures we have that. I will show you when you join into the course that how the SQL Server performance when to do that. Let's see, for example, if I run this query, now I would like to show the execution plan. So based on that execution plan, you can see there are some of the rows which have a table scan. So the table scan means this table doesn't even have a cluster index. Then I will show you once the query how the query performance after create a cluster index. Not only the indexes, I will show you the different types of hint covering index, and also I will explain the different performance tuning tips as well. Basically, if you see the row counts here, that most of our tables are covered more than 100 million rows. So if when we prepare the So when we have a customized SQL queries, those queries will join and pull the records. And also, I will show you how to load the huge volume of data. For example, if I have a person address, that person address table has a rows. Then when I insert the data into the person dot address table, then I will show you how it behaves when you load the data with the huge amount of data. For example, if I see I would like to go back and select star from person dot address. So basically when I pull the records, I will get all the records from the person dot address table. But you have to know how it behaves when you load the huge amount of data. For example, we have around 10 million rows. Then if I insert the data into, let's say I would like to go directly with the temp table, select star into test. So when I run this query load the data into the test, but you have to know how much time it is consuming, and also you have to know how to the SQL server is behaving when you executing the query. So let's say when I execute the query, then SQL server query will start loading, and we have a huge amount of data. That's why it is taking time. So basically when you go with the other training centers, I would say they will explain you the basic concepts and they will show you the execution plans, how it works. But here what we can do is you will see the real time with the huge amount of data. So you will see the real time when it takes. And also, for example, if I go back here and that the index is missing, so if I just copy and get the missing index details, so what I can do, I just go here and I will create an index in front of you, and then you will see the exact the behavior changes in the execution plan. For example, if I created the index, now the index is going to be create on the bill of materials table. So still the table has a huge amount of data, that's why it is still taking. So you will see here not only the index creation, you will observe the how much time it is taking when you create an index. So always you will have in mind that okay, when you working with the large amount of tables with the either indexes or select, then you will think about before you execute in your real-time production servers. So and also when I will show you that we have a queries that will pull the 100 millions of rows. So I will show you how to insert the data, because you cannot insert 100 million rows at a time, because when you insert the data your memory will be out. And so based on that I will show you the tricks that how to load the data batch wise, like 50,000 rows at a time or 100,000 rows at a time. And after that I will show you the statistics. When I create an index, then the statistics might be out of date. So I will explain that we have different environments for the different tables, so which is customized from the Adventures Works 2012 with a huge amount of data. So now let's see the same query with the execution plan. Then you will see the different behavior when you execute the query. So again, still it is showing the different index. So and I will explain that these indexes are really required. And okay, if I create this index, then is there any effect for the other servers? So because not only whenever you run the query, the execution plan will recommend the index for this query only, not other queries. So if you create this index, then it will perform very fast, but it will affect other queries. So those are the real-time considerations you have to be in mind. And also I will show you the how the SQL Server profiler works when you executing the large amount of data, because when you go into the job, most of the real-time scenarios, your code might be 5,000 lines. Then your manager will come to you and ask that, hey, 5,000 lines of code, and can you identify where the problem is? So now the SQL Server Profiler will help you for that. And also I will show you different DMVs. Those DMVs will help you to analyze the query statistics, fragmentation levels, those many more. I mean, SQL Server performance is you cannot get immediately um, for the SQL Server performance tuning, you cannot learn immediately. So you have to be learn, analyze day by day activities. So instead of you wait for 4 more years to get the full knowledge of performance, here you will learn most of the knowledge from the practical environment. So you will clearly see that how it behaves the performance. So before now, let's coming to the performance tuning process. Then basically every time when performance tuning, you cannot go directly and jump in and see the indexes, or you cannot blame the fragmentation all the time. There might be some reasons too. So I will show you how to identify the performance bottlenecks. Then also you have to prioritize the issues, because some issues might be not required, some issues might be very critical. So I will show you that how to identify that and how to troubleshoot those performance tuning issues. And not only that, when you work on the SQL Server performance, sometimes your hardware might be a problem, and your SQL Server works fine, but your hardware or your CPU or might be the disk will read and write operations might be uh, the read and write operations might be take so much time. So that's why there are a lot of factors you have to be considered before you analyze the performance, before you tune any of the SQL Server code. So and also we will cover the complete SQL and also will complete and also we'll cover the complete hardware resources, either CPU, how to analyze it, and how the performance monitor you have to look into it. And also I will show you the how the IO effect and when to affect and what to do when you get a chance. And also not only that, when you load the data into the disk will have a heavy usage, then you will get a performance impact. So that is also more important, but sometimes it's very hard to find out to where the disk is the problem, and when how to identify the problem, and when how to solve the problem. So those information also will covered in this course. And when you do the performance tuning process, the performance tuning is always this, the application should have a perform certain limit level. Because for example, when you click on the Google link, and if you search the Google, and you should have to find search immediately, otherwise there is a problem with that. Then Google automatically identify the performance of the application. So every application should have a certain performance level, then you have to be analyze the performance. So if the performance is very poor, then you have to be identify the bottleneck where the performance is, and you have to identify that the proper hardware is there or not, and is any additional hardware is required. And you will come to the database, not only the SQL Server, when you work on any relational database settings also you have to identify that. So once you identify those issues, then you have to be fix it, either the query or either the hardware resource. If it is not, then again you have to be analyze the performance. So performance is not going to be immediate fix. Sometimes it might be take long time, sometimes it might be fixed immediately. It depends on the experience and analysis of you, where you are focusing. So the performance is always and every time you will get it, either the business requirement might be changed, and sometimes the business wants to load huge amount of data, or sometimes the business wants to change the entire query set. So based on that, then you will have to find out the performance issues when you have it on the server. And most of the important factor is performance wise versus price. So basically, I see some of the real-time environments. Most of the people, they think that if the performance query or hardware is running slow, then directly they will think about immediately the price for buying the new hardware server. But I saw some of the environments, even if you move into the new hardware server, still your performance is poor, because your actual bottleneck is either SQL Server query or might be server settings. Sometimes it works with the new hardware, but sometimes it may not be. So based on that, your performance versus price is always important. So before you go into any new hardware resources, or before you go into any additional memory or additional CPU, you have to be focused on first where the problem is and where the query is a problem, or maybe the SQL Server settings are the problems. So, and also you have to be analyze it yourself, that is this is the good enough tuning. And um, to do that, you have to be prepare certain level of baseline. Like for example, there is a store procedure. That store procedure needs to be executed within 30 seconds or maybe 45 seconds. If it is exceed that limit, then which means that there is a problem with the query. Then you have to be slowly focus on the query, and you have to be find out the bottlenecks. And then if you think that query is okay, and the execution plan is showing the similar, but the hardware is getting problem, then you have to be focused on the hardware resources. And there are many factors in the performance. Sometimes might be statistics, fragmentation. Sometimes the query designing is also a problem. And when you joining the queries, and when you join the lot of tables with the select statement, then your query might be performed slow. And sometimes when you get the data and loading into the temp table, and the temp database is also has a huge problem when you get the load the data into the temp table. So those are the important factors you have to be considered when you start the performance tuning. And mostly where to focus on the performance tuning based on the research, the previous senior experience, most of them are found out that the problem is on the T-SQL coding. So first, every time the performance issue was in the T-SQL coding, because sometimes when you, as I mentioned before, that when you join the query or when you pull the data from the source, you have to be considered that do we need this much of volume of data? Do we need this much volume of data, or do we need this many tables joins? And also sometimes if you do the left join instead of inner join, or sometimes you might be do the union all or union distinct select. All these select statements, not only the select when you load the data into the insert, or if you try to update 5000 millions or 6000, when you update the 500 million rows or 600 million rows, for example, that then your update statement is also a problem. Then you have to be switched to the batch update statement instead of doing the all the rows at a time. So the T-SQL coding is very important, and in this course it will cover a lot of tricks and tips for the SQL coding, how to do the large volume of insert data, how to update the large volume of data, and also we'll cover that how to split the join statements and how to cover that. Not only that, and we'll cover with the poor maintenance plan also more important. When you do your performance on your server, you have to manage the indexes, performance, statistics, and how we will show you that how much time it takes when you do the update statistics on 50 million rows. And in this course we will show you how much time it takes when you have a recover the fragmentation for 100 millions of rows. So all those timings and factors and statistics you will see in front of the um, in you will see in front of the monitor. Then everything will be covered, and most of them are will show you exactly as how the practical scenarios work. And also we will cover that how the hardware works and our systems. When we teaching the extra guru, our systems are around 16 gig of memory, and also we have Xeon servers. So when you look into real, you will see the CPU, and also you will see the 16 gig of memory, how it behaves, and we will show you how the settings will cover when you want to utilize the maximum memory on the SQL server. Not only that, we will show you how there are some settings required when you do the database settings also. For example, auto statistics, or there are parallelism settings. So some of them are you have to see, then only you will understand, instead of instead of by hiding the things or instead of reading the books. So that our goal is to be explain the most of the information as much as what we learn from our 11 years of experience. Then we will teach you for within 2 weeks. Then you will start learning and you will start practicing then yourself. Then you will be an expert within next 1 or 2 years. So and these are the major things we will cover, and I will show you what are the main killers for the SQL Server performance. Sometimes maybe indexing and statistics, or I was mentioning that improper query designing and also the execution plans. So the execution plans are the most important. You should have to know how to start and how to see the execution plans, and you have to know that where exactly the execution plan needs to be focused, and blocking and also the deadlocks, and all this covers fragmentation levels and everything. Each what are the topics we are showing here, each topic is covered and explained and showing the practical scenarios with the more than 100 millions of rows. So you will see the real time scenarios, how the time consuming and how it will affect, and where to focus on that, how to resolve the problems. So that is the course, complete course description, and that how I'm trying to that that is I'm trying to show you into the SQL Server performance introduction class. So the batch will start very soon, and this is keep continuing the batches. So if you skip this batch, you can contact me. You can contact me on the kranti.sqlserver@gmail.com anytime. Then yeah, I will show you the details about the when the next batch I will show you the details when the next batch will start. Not only the SQL Server, will teach the SQL Server BI, SQL Server DBA, and also we are going to be introducing the new course which is called SQL Server DBA with T-SQL interview questions. And also we have another course, SQL Server BI, Business Intelligence with T-SQL interview questions. So each course has a 150 interview questions, and I will explain the more details very shortly. and and not only the SQL Server, we have a lot of courses in the website extraguru.com. You will learn a lot of technologies. Most of them are the experts and who have a more than 5 to 11 years of experience, including with the Hadoop and .NET Java. You can see anywhere any course you can learn online, and we don't charge much. I mean, because what our goal is to be explain the more technical knowledge with a less and with affordable price. So that is our goal. You can go and take a look onto our website. Thank you very much for listening the presentation, and have a good day.